In this lesson, we're going to re-examine order of operations, only now use it to simplify fractions. So let's say we are given an expression, say it looks something like 4 multiplied by negative 3 plus 6 multiplied by negative 2 all over negative 3, 2 minus 2. So if we recall back to our order of operations, we remember, okay, we work with parentheses first, exponents next, then multiplication, division at the same time, and then addition, subtraction at the end. However, how do we do it when we have a fraction like this? Well, we remember our grouping symbols, the parentheses, the brackets, the braces. Well, now we're going to treat the division sign, or the fraction bar, just like a grouping symbol. So whenever you see an expression like this, you could just imagine throwing parentheses around both the top and the bottom. So now you would conduct this, then this, or this, then that. Now, so once you're at this point, it is just regular order of operations. Now you might think to yourself, okay, well, order of operations says do parentheses first, but I see two large sets of parentheses, the top of the fraction bar and the bottom of the fraction bar. Which one do I do first? Well, thankfully, it is really, you can do either or first. It really does not matter. So you could solve the bottom of the fraction first, then the top, or the top, then the bottom. I personally just like doing the top first, but again, whichever one you feel comfortable with. So this will be equal to, I'm going to leave the bottom as is. Now the top, okay, so we have a multiplication, some addition, some more multiplication. Okay, I'm going to do all the multiplication at once. So 4 multiplied by negative 3, that's a negative 12, plus a 6 multiplied by negative 2, that is a negative 12. Okay, now I'm going to continue doing the top, so we just leave the bottom as is. Okay, so negative 12 minus a negative 12, well, we remember from our lesson on adding and subtracting integers, if we are subtracting a negative, this just turns into a positive, so it's negative 12 plus 12. Okay, well, that is just equal to 0 over negative 3, 2 minus 2. Okay, so now that we've solved the top, we'll solve the bottom. So 0 divided by, we have a multiplication in there, so that's negative 6 minus 2. So 0 divided by negative 8. Well, because we have 0 on the top, we really didn't need to solve the bottom because anything divided by 0 is, 0 divided by anything is 0, so our answer is 0. But the concept still holds, is the idea that if you have a fraction, you just treat the top of the fraction bar as one group and the bottom of the fraction bar as another group, and just throw parentheses around the two. Okay, so I'll give you guys an example to work on. So let's simplify the expression 8 multiplied by a negative 2 plus 4 multiplied by a negative 3 all over negative 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3. I'll let you guys work on that right now. Okay, so again, like I said, you treat the fraction bar as creating parentheses as a grouping symbol where you just put parentheses around the top and the bottom. Like I said, you can solve either or first. I'm going to solve the top first, so I'm going to leave the bottom of the fraction bar the same. Now I'm going to go to the top. Okay, so we have two sets of multiplications. I'm just going to do them at the same time, so that's negative 16 plus a negative 12. Okay, again, so now we have a negative 16 plus a negative number. So now that just stays as negative, so negative 16 minus 12 is negative 28, all over negative 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3. Okay, so now that I've finished solving the top, I'm going to work on the bottom. On the bottom, okay, so now I see that I have one set of multiplication and addition. So again, by order of operations, I'll do the multiplication first. So I leave the top the same. Negative 5 times 2, that's negative 10 plus 3. 28. So now negative 10 plus 3, that's a negative 7. Okay, well now we go back to our dividing integers. We have a negative divided by a negative. Oh, so that makes our final answer a positive. And now we find the we simplify the top. Well, 28 divided by 7, we just know that is 4. So, again, this equation at the top, 8 multiplied by negative 2 plus 4 multiplied by negative 3 all over, negative 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3 is just simply equal to 4. Okay, now I'm going to go through one more example. I'll give you guys another example to work out on your own. So the first one, what if we have a 1/2 squared all over 4 plus 3 squared? Okay, so same thing. We have a fraction bar, so we're just going to treat the top as one set of parentheses and bottom as the other, and I'm going to work on the top. So we have so I'm going to leave the bottom the same, 4 plus 3 squared, and we have a 1/2 squared. Well, that's the same as saying 1/2 multiplied by 1/2. Well, we can just treat that as multiplying fractions, so 1 times 1 is 1, all over 4. Okay, so now we've solved the top. Now we're going to solve the bottom. So that's 1/4 all over, okay, order of operations. I have to do the exponent first, so 4 plus 3 squared is 9. So that is equal to 1/4 over 4 plus 9 is 13. So now that we're there, we go back to our multiplying and dividing fractions, okay, and we treat this as 1/4 divided by 13 over 1. How do we do that? Oh, well, since it's a fraction divided by a fraction, we just simply multiply the numerator by the reciprocal of the denominator. Well, that is 1 over 14 times, 4 times 13 is 52. So this expression right here is equal to 1 over 52. Again, I'll give you guys one more example to walk through yourselves. So our example is 1 over 3 squared multiplied by 2 cubed plus 2. I'll let you guys work on that right now. Okay, now if we go through this, so like normal, it's a fraction bar, so we're going to treat it as a grouping symbol. We're going to group the top and the bottom. So now I'm going to solve the top first. 2 cubed plus 2 all over. Well, we have a 1/3 squared, so that's the same as 1/3 multiplied by 1/3. That is equal to 1 over 9 multiplied by 2 cubed plus 2. So now that we've solved the top, we're going to solve the bottom. So 1 over 9 divided by, okay, so order of operations, exponents first. 2 cubed, well, that's 2 times 2 times 2. That would be 8 plus 2 is equal to 19 over 10. Now just our regular fractions dividing fractions. So that is just the numerator multiplied by the reciprocal of the denominator. Our denominator is 10, so its reciprocal is 1/10. And then we just multiply straight across. So this whole expression equals 1 over 90.